Hello, everyone, and welcome to Play Dicely After Party. My name is Christy Clo, and this is the talkback show where myself, some of my wonderful castmates, just not to name names, Adam and Logan, and the incredible DM of our adventures discuss the most recent episodes of Play Dicely, our D&D actual play show that airs live here on Twitch every other Sunday at 6 p.m. And a quick shout out to Tim from Tabletop Audio for the music that will be added to the VOD later if you're watching this on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, have you subscribed to our Play Dicely YouTube channel yet? We recently hit 100,000, no, just 100, but just you wait, subscribers. And we would love you to join us over there. So I'll wait. It doesn't take that long. Just skip and then come back.
I forgot our bot's not working today, so I have to go and grab links manually.
Uh-oh. Well, it might take a little bit longer then, so I'm going to keep going. So tonight we are discussing episodes 43 and 44 for science and found in translation. Alrighty. We're just going to jump right in. Freaking Illumbrite ruins. That's the main thing that happened in episode 43 and 44 too. So I forgot what I wrote to myself here. We begin our exploration of the Illumbrite ruins, and Nell totally keeps her cool.
You did keep your cool pretty well.
How many
rocks did you like?
First question was, can I touch it?
I think that is a valid.
Like, Nell didn't run off ahead of the rest of us, and that's all I can hope for.
Yeah. I have been trying.
This is a win.
Yeah. I don't know if it read at all, but I was trying to be, like, considerate.
I appreciated it.
So, because I'm just tired of people giving me a hard time. So I'm like, I can still be exuberant, but within the boundaries that make the rest of the party comfortable. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very adorable reaction to that. You were so excited, but also just like, like a child on a leash, like dragging their parents, like, we need to get there. We want to go on the rides.
That was like me in real life too. I'm like, we've been waiting for how long for some freaking Illumbrite ruins? I'm ready. And I feel like it only makes sense for the first reaction to be to touch it, because like it's a fucking city glitched into another thing. Like you gotta touch it. So
what else would you do?
Find
what
the
else
seams.
would you do? And then I just had to include my favorite fun fact about like the licking the rocks, because I just think that's something I think about often, about how scientists just lick things all the time. But specifically what I was referring to is like the licking to see if it's bone or stone, which is something we should have done later on. But I didn't. So that's our first fan submitted question from Kumbulai, which is, have any of the players licked rocks for science? I
cannot say that I have. You literally did it during the stream.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't for science.
Yeah, that was for pleasure.
That was just for me. Wait, my rock went underneath my keyboard.
That was casual rock licking.
Yeah, that's just for fun, baby.
Okay.
There's no science about that. No, sorry.
All right, you guys keep talking. It looks like we're getting some dips in the broadwidth or the speed.
Bandwidth?
I'm gonna go check on that. You guys keep talking.
Okay. I'm sure I have licked rocks. I don't think I had a reason for it though.
Sure. I really like the way that you phrase that. I'm sure I have licked rocks.
I don't remember.
Okay. Just casually bringing up our own stream because I hadn't opened it yet. So no.
I was doing the same thing.
Okay, excellent. We are a well-oiled
Yeah.
machine here. And don't let us convince you otherwise. Okay. Just doing that casually. Moving right along. Everything's falling apart. So we discussed the best way to make to get across this city at an angle. And then Elowen, you scout below with your arcane eye. Doing which you find another village underneath, but this one's more similar to Starcross. So I'm wondering, do we think that this is like the original village of the Druid Enclave, or maybe something else even?
That's kind of what I was imagining, because like this whole thing isn't supposed to exist here, right?
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense that that's where the Druids were, and now this whole city thing has interplaced itself and ruined everything.
Yeah. I'm myself wondering, like, what I guess, okay, sorry, I'm not putting my own thoughts into words. I'm just imagining what it would have been like to have been there when the city glitched in and like the mayhem that might have caused. And I'm like, well, maybe we'll be able to ask Gideon if that's what the events at Valesville end up being.
How long do we think this has been here? I guess in my mind, it's a relatively like recent thing that this city has glitched in here, but I guess not necessarily. I don't know why I think that.
Yeah.
I don't know why you think that either.
I don't know why I think that at all.
Yeah, well, it's another one of those things that we just can't know, right? Because it would have been 300 years ago that the Druids left, right?
Okay. So this is why I'm thinking that, because the Druids would have had to do their thing like less than 500 years ago, right? So like relatively recent in the grand scheme of things.
In Azaria's lifespan, it's relatively recent. Yeah, I don't know. Because then I'm like,
when did this happen?
Yeah, when did this happen? Like, what did it mean to them? Because like, would they have been there when it happened, or were they like off wherever they were?
Yeah, maybe they were already asleep, and like all the people had left or something, like gone to the Feywild or something like that, or the Wilder. Sorry.
Well, the Druids went to the Eastlands, right? Is that not what we learned in 44?
Well, yeah. Oh, we've got Ryan coming in.
Oh, Ryan's
Rye
here.
guy.
Making a song.
Nailed it, Teni.
Oh, beautiful.
Look except for Dallas and Anthony
so
are in the wrong
close.
spots. Ah.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Glad you made it home through the storm.
Thank you.
Storms brewing.
Crap. There was a right. Oh, so yeah, you were talking about the Druids.
Eastlands.
So, yeah, Renan, when he told you guys their Druids went to the Beastlands, not Eastlands.
Okay, I was like, I don't feel like I've heard about the Eastlands. What is that?
Well, the Eastlands are the Beastlands. So.
The most east you can go through the east through the planar. Through the planar
I feel like
rifts.
some of our real life is maybe bleeding through game, perhaps, but
then like, I don't know if Renan told you guys he assumed that all the Druids went there, but when you got to the Water Druid Enclave, they told you their people went to the Plane of Water.
Right.
Yeah, so it might not have been completely organized to go to the same place.
Okay, this is actually. I'm gonna hop around a bit more this time, I think, just to follow the train of thought that we're having. So while we're in the ruins, we come across like the Dragonborn ghost that Drac is able to talk to, and then in the next episode we then encounter a dwarven one who gives us a bit more information about how like they were a druid, they don't know where they are, and talking about how like the Sky Village, from what I could glean, I think, at least if I remember correctly, is essentially like where they expected to be going after they died. So now, I think I asked this question in the last after party, but we didn't know enough yet, because I was wondering, I'm like, is the village, like, is the Illumbria ruins, was that like what was in the sky? You know, and I'm still wondering that. Because then it's also like, okay, so if the water druids went to the water plane, where did these ones go? If this is like kind of more of like a wind themed, right? Are we wind themed right now?
Yes,
air themed. So would they have gone up? But is the Sky Village the afterlife? I don't really understand. So these are some questions that I'm having. Because Because, like,
Ooh.
what if they were all up there,
Yeah.
whatever that looked like, and then it glitched in, and that's why they're all fucked up right now, like all ghostly.
Oh, maybe.
Or
Okay,
like,
I have a theory.
oh,
Yeah, put that on. What if we are... So, like, time has been weird, right? So,
yeah,
what if we're kind of, like, in between the planes right now,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
the Sky Village is the plane of air?
yeah. I think that's kind of what my question is, but also, like, what is the connection to Illumbria, if any? Is, you know, like, is it two separate things, or is it the same? I don't know the answers to these questions. But anyway, we'll come back to the ghostly conversation in a little bit, but that was just something that felt kind of relevant. God, this whole thing just makes me have so many more questions than I started.
I know. I feel like I have way more questions now than I did at the start of this episode.
Yeah. Anyway, so we do craft some harnesses and begin to slowly make our way kind of upward through the city to avoid whatever creatures are in the depths. Still
Teni?
wondering about that, if we're gonna encounter some creatures later.
What could
Bugs?
possibly await?
It's fine.
Bugs?
Oh, bugs? Maybe.
Yeah.
I will again say, I find the lack of Bronto buddies disturbing.
Yeah.
They
What
they
the
could be
hell?
down there. I still have faith.
Yeah.
We didn't really get a description of the creature, it's just that there were creatures, right? So
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's you guys go back to where you had the fight in episode 44, and just like a brontosaurus like pokes its head up through the hole. Stop, guys.
Yay!
Yeah.
I would love
That'd be
that.
so nice.
Would be.
Yeah. So after we kind of land in the first like area of climbing, we encountered a shattered statue of what looks to be a humanoid, which we later learn is definitely not a statue. And yet I'm still carrying a piece of it around in my little bag.
As you should.
It looks like
And
this.
there it is.
There it is. Yeah, I thought that was like a really cool description, but I still have questions about that too, because what do we think the statues are? Because from our research, which may not be accurate because I don't think anyone's ever actually interacted with Illumbrites properly, but they claim that they didn't have physical bodies. Like when they were in Illumbria, they were energy incarnate, and then it was just when they had to travel other planes, they took on like Argon Veludium bodies. So what the hell is this stone shit?
Maybe it's
Well,
just
like-
what happens to them when they die.
Maybe.
Oh,
And they
Oh,
don't
and they
have
die,
a body.
or I was thinking, yeah, like if this thing glitched in from another plane, like
Mhm.
is
Did
this
it,
what
like,
happens when they
don't have
do
the
appear in
protection?
another plane without the protection? Yeah.
Ooh.
I think so.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
neat.
that makes sense. Oh, I like
Because
that.
they turn into that crystal green coloration, right?
Hmm. We would have, I think I might have already asked this in game too, and I didn't really get an answer. So I'll try again.
Yeah.
Good question.
I'm just trying
Yeah.
to,
That's how I feel about these episodes too. Where I don't even know where to start with the
Yeah.
questions. I'm getting more lost.
because I was just trying to like see if I had the answer ready before I asked Daddy, and then he's mean to me.
Mhm.
I'm just,
It's
So
inevitable.
Good
the-
preparation to do it, I think.
yeah, the crystal on Abe's chest was green, but then it turned blue. And then the other crystal that we saw, which is the one that we used to revive Zarya, didn't have a color. It was just clear.
Well, the one
What,
that
is
you
that it?
used to revive Vazaria was a diamond.
No, it wasn't.
Oh no, you're right. It was a soul shard. That's right. That's right.
I was like,
No, my apologies. I was just thinking of like resurrection rules. I'm like, oh no, that's right.
Yeah.
You guys used a
no,
the soul shard of a passed on.
because I'm just trying to think if we've seen any other like soul shard things that would have been connected to this, and if they had a color. Because it seems like the color of Abe's is connected to like what he's got going on in his personal life.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I'll just give you some information about Argon folk. Like, there were only ever 3 colors that were commonly across their shard color and their eye color. Like whatever the color of the shard, it's the color of their eyes as well. Those being blue, purple, and yellow. But Abe was the only one with a green one.
Purple and yellow. Oh wait, I need to write this down.
It was green because he had all that Malden power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. And so the one that we used for Zarya, was it clear?
Yeah, because there was no
There's
soul.
no soul. So what the fuck does it mean to have a blue soul versus a yellow soul? That's another question.
It's alignment.
Oh,
Alignment,
I'm so confused.
perhaps.
What'd you say, Ryan?
Alignment.
Alignment.
Ooh.
I don't know if Danny would assign alignment to a soul just based like that.
But we can figure it
yeah.
out. God, this is literally, I just want to have a whole campaign that is Nell writing her thesis because she has some like research and like interviews she wants to do with people. What were the color? You're not going to know this, I bet, but what was the color of the eyes of the chicken herder Arganvo?
This is very important, Danny.
Penguin red.
Episode 2, I need you to remember.
Yeah, I need to
They
remember.
were Cardrak colored.
I don't know what that means.
I don't recall. Maybe I made a note of it. Let me check.
Okay. And then I'm like, well, maybe you didn't, because like maybe it wasn't something you were really thinking about then, or maybe you were. I don't know how your brain.
I mean,
works,
I
so.
did know about this rule before the campaign started, but I might
Okay.
not have specifically like pointed it out because it might not have mattered so much.
Well, it definitely didn't, because it's been 43 episodes, and now I'm finally like kind of being like, wait, what does the color mean? Because yeah, I'm just thinking about like, because you said the statue shattered into similar to like the actual real life rock I have, like a dark green, right?
Yeah.
Like, why was it dark green?
Yeah, so Karina the chicken farmer, I didn't make a note of what her eye color was, but it would have been one of those three.
Okay, thank you. That was quite vague.
I'm going to make a note right now. She had purple eyes.
Ooh, okay.
Don't just be saying
Evil.
these things, because I'm gonna be putting I'm gonna be putting things on it. So
You
think about that.
Wrote it down. It's in my NPC notes now.
Canon now.
It's canon now.
Okay. Well.
Gonna bold it too.
Ooh.
Purple
very
eyes.
Uh-oh.
Well, because you
She's
guys
the key
made
to
it
everything.
important.
Yeah.
Her name is Kirina.
Ooh.
I bet you guys
I-
walked away
there's
from Starcross.
There's like a 99% chance I never wrote down what that person's name was. So
We could have ended this campaign session 3 if we had known that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, if I just killed that chicken thief instead.
yeah, that's the way to do it. Anyway, moving on, because the questions will never be answered.
Maybe
Never.
someday.
One, maybe.
But not during an after party.
Definitely not. We're just here to kind of ponder for like 2 hours and then leave more confused than we started. That is the goal.
yeah,
That should be the
that's-
tagline. Of
That's what after
party.
parties are. It's just a bunch of people stumbling around like we've all been drinking, saying weird shit, and then
True.
going home.
And it's
Cheers
Christy
to
trying to bully
Perfect.
Denny into spoiling things.
I'll never tell.
You common proofread? That's the nerdiest mug I've ever seen.
South, it says keep clam and proofread.
Oh,
My
Oh.
dad,
cute. That's
my
actually
dad
adorable.
bought it for me when I started proofreading full time last year.
That's
Oh, no.
adorable. I actually,
It came in the
that
mail.
totally changed that around for me. I love it now.
It came in the mail with no note, and I was like, "Where is this from?"
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until like several hours later that I got a text from him about it. And I was like... Anyway, so the next note I have written here is: we make lightning happen in a conical building, which
There it
causes
is.
the resin in between the bricks of the city to light up with blue energy. That was sick as hell, let me say.
That was
That was
very
sick.
cool.
Yeah, that
Very-
whole description. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Anthony.
I was gonna say very cool way of having like arcano tech in the world. I always find that so interesting, how to blend kind of modernity with generic fantasy. And I think he did a good job.
Thanks. And though Logan and Adam aren't here to join us today, Ryan, you can answer because you were in the prequel campaign. And as I pull up the question I asked of them,
I have it. I put it in 44 because I wasn't expecting it just yet, but I can hop to it right now.
Let's ask the one guy out of that trio with the worst memory.
Well, and I mean, we kind of got that answer from them as well when I asked them this.
Yeah, so the question was, from both of these episodes, you explored an Illumbrite ruin, but those of you who have played in the prequel campaign, you got to explore one then too. How did it feel returning to similar ruins? Do you recall the experience from the prequel campaign? And did you notice any similarities or things that brought you back to the first campaign? So Ryan, if you want to think about that, I do have Adam and Logan's answers here that I can read out.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So like you were saying, Logan's is, unfortunately, I actually don't remember the ruins from the last campaign that much. I missed most of the sessions related to them. Classic Logan. Where are ya? Just kidding. For me, it was like something looming in the background, a mystery that our characters could have uncovered if we had made some different life choices. It's pretty funny. There's a lot that I'm actually angry about you guys in your last campaigns. Like, I feel like we could have learned so much more.
Sorry, we're the reason there's this campaign, so.
That's true. And then Adam's was, can I just talk about how robust Adam is in text? It's so rare.
You wrote a masterpiece.
What a beautiful masterpiece. It's divided into two parts, but.
I mean, you shouldn't be surprised considering he wrote the Malden document.
I know, I love that document. I'm not surprised. It's just, he just classic Adam. Months go by, drops like a beautiful kernel, and then just like nothing.
He doesn't reply to the group chat for 6 months, and then what he does is 3 paragraphs of beautifully written prose.
Yeah. Anyways, so the ruins themselves felt very different and unique. The ruins near Starshire felt like they had a layer of dust on them, save for the footprints of explorers and smugglers. It was this looming corpse on the horizon that was simultaneously empty of treasures, but full of secrets. The Illumbrite ruin that we're exploring now feels frozen in time, like it was plucked from wherever it was, but the people were left behind. Like it's pristine, even though it's been inside a mountain for centuries, if not millennia. It's so unknown, so alien, like behind every corner we could find some great tome that would answer all of our questions, or some damnable relic that would only make our situation more dire. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I agree with that.
Thank you for the follow,
Lord,
so Sarah
Adam.
Miranda.
I concur with that.
Ooh, literally?
I couldn't put it better. Yeah. This place is very strange. It's very out there. The moment we set foot in there, it's just like you can tell you're just in the wrong place. Like the gravity is even wrong. Like everything about this place is wrong. Whatever happened here is a big problem. Like I had a thought, like we know now like the Illumbrites are light beings and all that, but I had the thought of like, what if they weren't always light beings? And like when they were shifted over to this place, they didn't completely shift. So like just their souls were brought over and they have no means of like reconnecting. Then there's just these beings that are just feasting on their souls. And I was like, that's dark and awesome. So, yeah, everything about this place is very, very cool. I'm a big fan. In terms of what I remember about the last one, very little. I remember a specific encounter I had with Adam's character. We had like a shared vision. And that was pretty neat. But basically, that was sort of like a beginning teaser to sort of say that my character and Adam's character were related because we had shared blood. And I can't remember exactly what the catalyst was for why the vision happened, but I think it had something to do with ancestry or something. I don't know. But I do remember that vision being a very neat little thing that could totally crack this world right open. But it's I'm gonna shut up now.
You had a vision in an Illumbrite ruin.
Yeah.
I wish one of our players could have any concept of what that's like, but alas,
Well, it's
jump to another time.
It's fascinating because the challenge of designing this Illumbrite ruin as a dungeon, like because half of the cast had played in the campaign that came before and had done Illumbrite ruins, there was a part of me that was like, how can I stay true to that experience while also, making it fresh, making it interesting, giving them something new. But as it turns out, you all forgot the experience anyway, so it was pretty safe.
It was a long time ago.
It was. It absolutely was. And like so Logan said, he wasn't even there for most of it, which I'd completely forgotten. But
that might have been at the time when I was playing Miles, when I still felt like I was like, yeah, I'm a side character. I'm like I don't know. I'm like Vinny. You call him in and he beats your buddy up or whatever, and then he leaves. He goes home and visits his family again.
Also, we're gonna get you to boost your mic up there, Ryan.
There's the audio check. How about now?
Keep it going.
I'm gonna do it again. How about now?
Perfect. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, sorry, I'm tired today, so my
actually, we'll get you down one ping. This is how audio checks go.
Oh boy, we're doing it live. How's that?
Yeah, that'll do.
Very good. Yeah, I was like kind of in and out. There was a period like I joined, as I mentioned earlier, like I think I joined about halfway through the game, and then I had my little mini story where I met the party, got to know them, we did a thing together, and then my character was like, I got a family, see you guys, because they might not be safe right now, and I'm gonna go make sure they are. Bye. And then he left for a bit, and then he came back, and then it was Illumbrite time, and it was like, okay, I didn't really have anything that was like, at least I didn't think at the time that I was going to have something within that place that was pertinent to me. Little did I know, friggin' my ancestry, that's fine. Big deal. It was very, very neat. Yeah, I'm just listening. Like every second we're in this dungeon, like I'm just listening now. And I'm like, what the fuck what seeds are you planting, Teni? Everything that you say, every little bit of landscape and whatever, if anybody has a vision in this place, I'm like, this could be for any one of us. we gotta be careful. He's trying to pull a fast one on us.
Yeah, well, someone did, right? Not so much a vision, but like was spoken to via ghost, right? So
yeah, I suppose now thinking about like who was present for what from the last campaign, I think Adam might have the most Illumbrite experience.
Yes.
I mean,
and
that kind of works because of his character choice too, right? So
yeah. So it's kind of perfect there. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I was like, hey, you know what's also brutal is that there's like time fuckery, and there's also people not knowing things that they should totally know, like as if their memories have been messed with in this place. Sound familiar? Oh boy. Yeah, it's bad.
We were talking about this before you came.
Yeah.
It's so bad, man.
Yeah. I mean, that is, we can go there early to Tinfoil Hat Corner. Again, I guess for the second time tonight. But yeah, like we'll get into this more a bit later. But yeah, time was dilating. We didn't find out till the end of the episode. So there's time dilation in the Illumbrite ruins. I already had pegged there potentially being like a time fuckery thing happening with Balesville, kind of based on what Patience had said, and like, who knows, but like a timeline variation thing. So I just think it's adding more like factors into my theory that Illumbria is connected to Balesville. So I don't know.
Well, it all has to be connected somehow. So
everything's connected. Obviously,
makes sense.
Now I wonder. So, I wonder if I can't remember. Feel free to correct or inform me and educate me on this. Were the Illumbrites beings that were about keeping the balance with the void and whatnot?
They were neutral.
Yeah, they're just neutral beings. It's not specifically said anywhere, like anything specifically about them and the void. As far as I remember, it's just they were neutral.
Okay, well, I would make the argument that neutrality is a form of balance.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to wager. Oh, rats! Where'd it go? No.
Their cultural beliefs centered around the balance of the universe. So, at least in their own culture, they would try to keep some sort of balance.
There it is. So
yeah.
I had a thought that like the creatures of the void and those associated probably squared off against the Illumbrites throughout history. I wouldn't be surprised. So if Kardrak or whoever the hell is Kardrak is hanging out with the Void crew, I wouldn't be shocked if their goals are kind of like trying to kill everything that is somewhat trying to keep said balance. Like they have the experience already of, I guess, dealing with the Illumbrites, however that was dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Druids are next.
Although, wait. His whole thing, though, is may the midnight sun rise, and that is the Illumbrite crystal, right? That was underneath?
Yeah.
Yeah. It housed a bunch of souls within it, so I wonder what's the importance of that.
So, if he wants that crystal back, and he had access to Arcan Voludium, what does that mean? Like,
well, here's my continuing theory. So the Illumbrite crystal released Starborn. The Starborn, if they're within an Illumbrite crystal, I'd like to believe that there's some form of a descendant of the Illumbrites. So like either the next evolution, or rather maybe the Illumbrites were always these souls, these celestial beings that were either good or whatever, if you want to get the alignment involved. But they were these celestial souls, and they didn't have bodies. And then basically they found bodies when the crystal exploded. And so Kardrak is trying to put the Illumbrites back in a jail cell, basically. As long as the Illumbrites are out there, it's a problem. I think. I don't know.
I will say,
on his chin.
I will say, just adding or potentially subtracting from your theory.
Go for it.
According to the lore doc, there were celestial entities, infernal entities, and the Illumbrites separate from each other.
Oh, okay. So that's different then.
So,
okay.
And like the exact wording is celestial entities good, infernal realms evil, and Illumbrites neutral to keep them both in check.
Gotcha. Okay.
In the crystal? In the midnight sun?
Not necessarily for that, but that's just like the origins of the Illumbrites from the lore that I researched.
Okay, so the Illumbrites kind of serve a similar function to like Primus then, I guess.
Oh, that changes things, because I kept thinking...
Here's the crystal part. The crystal part could channel the powers of good, evil, celestial, and fiends, and possibly trap such entities. Many theorize this is where deities and devils vanish to during the desolation. So when it was released back into the world, assumedly it somehow created these mortal forms of life along with returning whatever energy it had stored.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, but why hunt down the Starborn though?
It needs their souls, or Kardrak needs their souls to fuel the crystal to do something else with it, I assume.
See, I feel like that's part of it. Like, I feel like that's definitely like 50%, but I feel like there's more. I feel like there's another purpose with that.
Yeah. I don't know if we're closer to figuring out what the other part is yet, unfortunately, because I've been wondering about that too, like how that all connects.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll find something in these ruins.
Maybe we're
pointing in the right direction.
Hope so. Maybe we'll find, how did Adam put it? Some great tomb that would answer tome. Shut the fuck. I realized I fucked it up right as I said it. Some great tome.
Hell yeah.
I would answer all of our questions, or some damnable relic. What did you just say? What did you say? Fucking watch yourself. I'll come over there. Anyway, I didn't hear what you said, so I'm just gonna assume it was mean.
It wasn't.
Right.
It was mean to himself.
Okay. That's fine then. I lost my train of thought now, but Whatever. Maybe we'll get answers. Maybe we won't. I'm still so confused about everything. But
that's fair.
I'm gonna move us along though.
No, I'm gonna cut
ourselves.
back in.
Fucking Teni.
He's gonna tell us things.
Oh, yeah, right.
Talk.
Well, I was talking. I had actually been in the
day.
midst of talking about the difference between the Illumbrite Ruin experience between the two campaigns, and then somebody barged in and cut us on this tirade. So I think that's okay. But kind of going back to that question of the experience between the two, there was actually like the puzzle of activating lightning in a metal conical building was an experience from the previous campaign as well. It just had a different puzzle at that time, though the answer was still lightning. We just didn't have a dragonborn on the party.
Interesting. Well, that's you cut me off saying something that would have been relevant to that because I was about to talk about the riddle and how much I liked the riddle because I just want to repeat it again because things like this I always like to repeat because why not? So yeah, first a flash and then a roar, the gods enraged, who knows what for, splintered children grasping for land, a random occurrence or something planned, boats sent to the depths, trees scorched and ruined, beware of skies when a great storm's a brewing. How you have to end everything that says brewing.
You only wanted to repeat that for the last part, right?
I actually didn't I wasn't planning on doing that until I saw the line as I was reading it. So
storm's brewing.
Did you write this, Teni, or did you find this from somewhere?
I found it somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think this was also from Narzagul's Dungeon Master's Toolkit.
Shout out.
Yeah. Good resource.
Yes.
Hey, to the Swan.
Hello.
I was gonna say something.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes. We talked about this in the session too, because we were confused as to what it was referring to. And then Teni so kindly put us on the right track. But it's very interesting how that works for both the riddle and also the desolation as a whole.
Yeah.
And like as players, we know it's not related really, but our characters are like, ooh.
Yeah.
But are you sure about that?
Huh?
It's thematic.
Sure?
It is very thematic.
It's also funny to think of like when things are found like this, I as a DM go, okay, well, why would this be here? And the answer to myself was, I guess the person operating this thing was just really into poetry and was inspired.
Why not?
That's actually, that's a good question. But maybe I'll save for when we get closer to the next part.
Why do celestial beings like riddles so much?
Yeah,
that's
essentially.
Great question.
Yeah,
it's like in
in
every setting. Why can't they just say "do the thing"?
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down right now. The other question I had for you, Teni, was: did you pull inspiration for the Illumbrian ruins from anywhere in particular, like for that kind of Arcana tech type thing?
Oh God, whatever inspiration I got, it would be from so many years ago. Because like I said, like the Illumbrites have been a thing since the prequel campaign, so which is like half a decade ago in the making.
Wow. Even like just like the visual for me of like the lightning arcing out and then lighting up the resin. Like I thought that was so cool. Just like the concept of having like the glowing paths, you know. Did that just come to you? Is that just your brain?
Yep, that was just kind of like, okay, you know,
cool.
Do thing. What would that likely do? What would that likely do? We've got stuff.
So what was the lightning in the other ruins? Was it also a path or was it something else?
There was a building that the party was trying to get into, and the city was without power, and so they couldn't get access into this building. So the ghost of Kardrak was actually in that ruin, and he was like, as far as I know, I think that would turn that on. So if you do that...
Sorry, the ghost of Kardrak?
Yes. It's in the prequel campaign lore stream, so I've got no problem saying that.
It is, yeah.
Fucking lore stream.
Interesting.
Yes, the ghost of Kardrak. Who is this Kardrak?
I don't like it.
I don't either.
So jumping back to, we kind of touched on it briefly, but it was after the lightning thing that we encountered the first ghost, and also started hearing the screams and stuff. Oopsie. Wait, do you think the ghosts were walking around before we did the lightning thing? Or did the lightning thing like make the ghosts appear?
I think they were already there.
We didn't see them until that happened, right?
But is that proof or is that coincidence?
Did we hear the screams before we did that?
No,
because
we specifically were saying like, oh, the screams are because of what like we activated something, and so
we also didn't hear the screams until after we blew up that statue.
Yeah, but
a number of things we did that might have triggered this.
But that was pretty much immediately after the lightning, because it was because we did the lightning,
true.
we did lightning on the statue, so it was kind of tandem. So I'm just curious because we don't really understand like what it does. It just came to me as I was saying it out loud. I'm like, huh, wait. But yeah, I guess the other thing I have is, what do we think happened to the druids to make them trapped in this purgatory, essentially? Because like they don't seem to know where they are. Like they were able to talk with us, but like couldn't see us.
Well, I think it's this weird alien city that's suddenly found itself here, right? I feel like if this wasn't here, this would just be a nice little druid enclave and everyone would be happy. But there's this weird fucking city in the way now.
Yeah. Their whole sense of time must be gone. Like they probably thought, like they're dreaming right now. Theory, right? They're sleeping in a time zone.
That's the question.
There's like
where
a time dilation going on around the city itself.
Yeah, so I imagine that they're sleeping and they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's only Tuesday" when we wake them up, and we're like, "No, it's Wednesday."
It's
hundreds of years in the future.
later.
Well, this is like
A year ago, last Tuesday.
We have a series of questions related to this though, because where, like, if the other druids went to the water plane, where did these druids go? And also the dwarven one that we talked to, he specifically said he remembered like dying essentially on a hunting trip, like because of a bear or something, right? So it's
he
like
didn't know the words desolation.
Exactly. So he likely is a soul from like pre-desolation. So why is all of a sudden his soul now corrupt? Like, was it that, so if the Illumbrite ruin was the Sky Village and they did somehow go there, did it falling or like glitching cause all these souls that had been like fine there to now be trapped here? Or like, what is happening? And then if that's the case, these are old souls. Where are the current druids? Like the ones that left? I'm so lost.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Cut in with thank you for the follow from X Halo Kitty. For Kumbalai, who are we 100% sure that the ghosts are not the druids? It has been confirmed in this session that the ghosts seem to be the druids. Yeah,
he did like the in the next episode. Technically, the dwarf ghost.
Yeah, in 44
did confirm that he was a druid. So.
But not the archdruids.
No,
right?
but
like there should be some archdruids here also, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's only one archdruid in Enclave.
Archdruid, yes, sorry.
Yeah. He did say the name, but I didn't catch it like in time to type it out. So
the name of the archdruid was told you guys by Sashumi as well from the Water Enclave. The name of this archdruid is Huiyan, spelt Huyyan.
Huiyan.
Okay. And that was what the dwarf said to us as well?
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, druids live for a really long time, so that doesn't necessarily indicate anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be really curious to like figure out where this leads. I guess maybe next episode, maybe the one after, depending how slow we are. But
we're going to be slow. We're going to be mega slow.
Yeah, just assume we're going to be the slowest we can be.
But one of my questions for that is, how did seeing, for Anthony, you're looking at your notes, how did seeing a dragonborn ghost affect Drac? And is he having any thoughts about the connection between the druids and his people, having specifically seen proof of a dragonborn druid, presumably?
Yeah, it's definitely making him think more about that potential connection. His brain's been busy with other thoughts prior to this moment, but I think now he's like, oh, we're here, we're in it, and it's being kind of forced in his face to think about this stuff now. So
we're not there yet, but like, hey man, there's no prophecy. What the fuck?
What do you mean? I'm the chosen one.
You're supposed to restore the balance.
Like, does he have any specific thoughts of what that means necessarily? Like,
what specifically?
I guess, I don't know, like, that as of like your knowledge, like your village has always like been pretty self-contained, but the knowledge that there were dragonborns that were part of this community that were just like up the mountain, like, I guess if I was in Drax's shoes, I'd be wondering, like, is this like knowledge that like those elders have? Like, are they aware of those druids and like that some of their people are there, or is it completely like something that got lost to time? You know, like, did it have any impact on the founding of your village? Like, I'm still wondering about like how they heard a voice to come there, like, and they think it's fish talk, but was it fish talk? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot that's being revealed to Drac that's making him, you know, question what he's been told throughout his life. I don't think his faith is wavering in like his in Vishtak, but maybe in like the concept of the elders as a whole might be wavering for sure. And I think that was happening before the party even got to Darokarth. And then in terms of where they're at now and seeing like this dragonborn ghost and the knowledge that there were some of his people here, I feel like it's lost to time. I feel like if that had been the case, like if the elders did know, either they didn't pass it down to the next group of elders, or they just keep it secret because it's easier for the people not to know. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm of the mind right now that I just want to learn more before I make a judgment call on Drax's beliefs.
That's fair. Ooh, I'm gonna run back down that mountain and tell the elders what's up. Y'all don't know anything, man.
That'll go well.
Yeah.
Nothing like a story of questioning belief for a cleric.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
It's right up there with breaking a warlock patron.
yeah.
Right there with breaking your leg for a monk. What?
Wait, no.
What?
Don't do that.
Cool. The only other thing I'm
gonna need that featherfall token, actually.
I don't have it anymore, so can't
Take
help
that
you.
from Rhea.
Sorry, did I
Whoever
cut your
has it.
reference? Shoutouts to Nick breaking
Yeah.
his leg.
Oh,
I broke
okay.
his legs and he was a monk in the last campaign, yeah.
It was your grandma.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Didn't he get
Well,
thrown out of a hole or
Adam
something?
used him as a throwing weapon.
It's not really your fault then. Yeah.
No.
Really not.
Threw him down a chute,
Like
he broke his
Adam
legs,
did.
killed his target, but then was attacked by the Darugo, who was a beholder, so, you know, it all went well.
Sounds like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Regular day.
Yeah. When you actually treat the I'm gonna toss this gnome seriously, like that gnome's gonna break in half. They're gonna die.
The other thing I was going to say about ghosts is just like, I wasn't expecting how much talking to that dwarven ghost was going to affect Nell. Like, it made me really emotional, like in like real life
It made
too.
me really upset too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
That was a lot.
Yeah,
I also found myself quite moved by that scene. That was a random encounter.
yeah, like I guess it's like one of those things, like we knew about these ghosts and like presumably we could have maybe connected the dots, like the screams were coming from them, but I think it was just seeing like this like soul being like feeling so bleak. And I think it's been like a running thing with like Nell too, of just being like wanting to help in situations where there's literally nothing she can do. and how helpless that makes her feel. Like, God, I felt bad. It was like literally the best thing I can do for this soul is to walk away and try and solve it, but that doesn't fucking feel good. So
Yeah.
just like I think that really like put like a certain energy over like Nell's headspace for the rest of that session. But that's for the next one, but still. Oh God. It's very good. But we're still in the fun times before we knew that there was shit happening. So
before we knew.
We're still in science
What
world,
a
gang.
yeah, we're
day.
still in
It's for
happy-go-lucky
science.
science. So we enter the first monumental building that kind of looks like the Parthenon. Pretty exciting. Brief encounter with vampiric mist, but it's not
Whatever.
a big deal.
Oh, it's not a big
No
deal
one
yet.
cares.
Adam
You don't
fights it.
know.
He
Yeah.
loses some
We ignored
health.
It's not. It really doesn't matter. More importantly, there's a dragon statue, dragon-esque statue in the center. It's got a
It's
crystal
like
in its
tiny,
throat.
right?
It's like 3.5 feet.
So it was sitting on like a circular dais, and then it was a statue on top of it, maybe like a foot tall.
Okay, cool.
Oh, it was a foot tall.
Well, the
Yeah.
statue was a foot, but then the dais was like 3 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, it's got a crystal. Ceiling's got a crystal. It's got some recesses in the eyes for something to go there. And then there's also 3 doors that appear to lead just to the wall beyond. I feel like I immediately was like, those are portals. And I was so excited. But I can't figure out why. Like, I was just so instantly like aware of that.
I mean, it's fine. It's kind of heuristics, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, if there's a door there,
Yeah.
but there's no door, there should be a door.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what. But anyways, yeah, very exciting. We find some sapphires with detect magic. Pop those bad boys in. Underwater study time. Very exciting. I really enjoyed having like a field research moment with Azaria.
That was so cute.
Yeah.
So fun. And this is the note I wrote down from earlier. What's with all the puzzles, study man?
Who is that addressed to?
What's that?
It's addressed to the person who owns the study.
Yeah.
Why were there so many puzzles?
What's the
Hey,
deal with all these
Clearly
puzzles,
a
Denny?
Wizard study though. They love their puzzles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I'm like, I guess I have more questions. And part of it too is like the meta of being like, obviously, Danny the DM wants us to have puzzles, which I quite enjoy, and so there's going to be some puzzles. So when I start poking holes at it, I feel a little bad, but I'm like, you know, just curious about like in lore, like if this was an Illumbrite wizard or whatever, like
I got bored.
what? And then almost like,
Or, maybe it's security to prevent randos from walking into their study.
Nah.
yeah,
But they left a note with where the key to their puzzles
so
was.
it was a wizard that loved puzzles but was forgetful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
the other answer could be that, all of the stuff was like crashed into the corner. So those 2 crystals could have been in a very secure location. The shifting of an entire city might have knocked them loose.
Nah.
Well, but even then, like inside the study, there was the note of being like, remember, the pearls are over here. So like, definitely like,
That's a good
I
point
like,
to imply.
I like Kumbala's theory.
I'm with that.
The wizard has some kind of child relative they're trying to keep out of their shit.
Listen here,
Yeah.
you little shit.
There.
Stay out of my
Naturally.
water study.
I do like that.
Stay the hell out.
yeah, it
Daddy.
really is fun to consider, like, who was this person? Because, like I just told you guys
Yeah.
about the riddle, I was like, clearly this is just some guy some Illumbrite who was, like, inspired to write out a riddle. And it's like, I have given thought to this building, and, like, why is this building here? Why are these rooms what they are? What function do they serve? And I mean, like Anthony just pointed out too, there's like a whole bunch of stuff that got thrown to the lower end of the room. So it's like, clearly this place had been furnished before, and this building served some sort of function. And due to the size of the building, it's not likely that this was more of a public building as opposed to like a domicile. But it just
Yeah.
happened to have like somebody's study there. And that probably would have been somebody of significance.
Fascinating.
Good
Some
thing we stole all
forgetful
their stuff.
somebody who had to leave themselves notes.
A very forgetful somebody.
Yeah.
I love it.
Position of power.
If it was just like a Lumbrian wizard, I mean, it makes sense. Wizards and their towers, they love to make it complicated. Like, it's just kind of classic wizard energy. So,
Yeah.
I had another question, like, that this is just, again, it's all speculation, but like, why does the gravity only correct in certain buildings and not every building?
That's a great question.
And then
I
it's
hadn't
also
thought about
like,
this.
why, again, if we're going off the Illumbrians are energy, why do they need gravity?
So I had thought about this. So
Oh.
the Illumbrites are energy beings, and they have some crazy tech. I wouldn't be surprised if they were some of the first planar/space explorers. So whenever they interacted with people on a new planet, or if they ran into people on their way to a new planet, they could set the gravity and have them in. Like, they didn't have physical forms; they didn't need it. It was for everybody else, which is why they have like no gravity things within the middle of the street, because they could just float around. But if they needed to have a place where people who are more physical in being would need a place to stand, then yeah, you could just flip the gravity switch on and be like, all right, let's meet in the Citadel where we can turn on the gravity, and then that's it.
Yeah, okay. I buy it. I guess
Sure.
also just if they're energy, like they clearly, even if they are energy, they have physical items that they're using, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so like they probably need to keep those tethered in some way. But we also realized too, like when we found that prison cell thing, that like maybe they were studying non-Illumbrite folks, perhaps. So who knows? Not me.
Really?
guys.
I know. Jenny.
I see you up there, you son of a bitch.
No. Don't make me come down there.
Oh god, what a fun like joke that would be, just Brady Bunch.
But yeah, after we explored the study, that was pretty close to the end of that episode, because then we decided that we're going to rest. And then we received the call from Learned Dream that Kardrak is Reeve of Balesville, which
Cool.
not surprising.
Nope.
Does sound bad though.
Definitely.
I'm sure it's
And
fine.
then yeah, just like, okay. I mean, I guess that's kind of what I could have predicted was going to happen in Balesville. But it's interesting that he's like made himself public now. So I'm more glad than ever that we've set that paper trail up about him. Just be like, we knew he was shit, and look, he's back now. What's that about? So it'd be so much harder if we hadn't done that, and then he was like, I'm Reeve now. We're trying to be like, he's bad, and they'd be like, what are you talking about? And because I'm assuming he has some ability to kind of convince people of his plans and deeds. So
Oh,
It
I
does
bet
at
you.
least feel like the Learned Circle is at least suspicious of him with us, right?
I
Yeah.
think
I
so.
hope they're more than suspicious at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, Kardrak's a little sus.
yeah,
Should vote him out.
I mean, they've heard all of our complaints and everything. So although Hilp is fine, which is good, but
And also, as far as allies go, you guys know that Charity does not like him.
true. God bless her. Yeah, that's for us to deal with in 10 months when we exit.
Whoa.
10
Okay.
months their
Hold on.
time when
Stream
we
just
exit.
like stopped. Like I
Yeah.
had 0 kilobytes for a second. I think we're good
Yeah.
now.
Seems like we're okay now.
Wow. Okay.
Is Twitch okay?
Twitch, buddy, you good? You doing good? You good? You good?
Hey, Twitch.
I mean, I also noticed like
What
the
was the last thing you
call
heard?
is quality is not great today either in terms of video.
I did notice that.
Well,
Might just be like internet things doing.
I'm looking
internet
like an
things.
Illumbrite today. That's
well,
how
it might also be the weather.
Oh yeah, there
The
was like
weather
a
is
storm
bad.
and stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems we're back though, so.
Okay,
All right.
keep it going for now.
Yeah, the next section is for Dallas. you have a conversation with Azaria about getting the other sections of the stranger's name. I've honestly forgotten a lot of what that conversation was about. So if you want to elaborate on that at all, or
yeah, no, that's a conversation that in my mind I was like, I have to have this conversation before we get to the next enclave. And then we got to the enclave so much faster than I thought we were going to. And then we got there and I was like, it's okay, we're gonna rest before we do this enclave and I can talk to people then. And we did not rest. And I was like, okay, all right, well, I guess, we'll just deal with this as it comes. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out in the moment. So I'd already given up on having this conversation. But then we had like just enough time, I thought, left in our session. I was like, oh, I can squeeze this conversation in right now.
It's still so funny to me because you mentioned that the other day, and I was like, it literally did not occur to me that we should have rested at the beginning of this episode. Like, right before we went in.
We already had a fight that day, so I was like, we'll rest before we get too far into this enclave, right? We're not going to do this whole thing after a battle. Like, we've already been hiking for hours today, had a fight, came to this place. We're going to sleep, right? No.
That would have been so smart. Literally, I think it's just because of how the episodes were divided that it just did not occur to me. I was like, because I think that would have been the third episode of that, like, that had spanned one day. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just, I was talking to Logan about this last night as well, where I feel like most of the Ella and Azaria conversations are actually just Dallas Logan conversations, because I just go to Azaria with like the actual questions I have, where I'm like, wait, so I need to talk this through with somebody. Am I still doing this thing? Yeah, I felt like, again, I figured this name was going to come up again in this enclave. And I just thought it might be nice to chat with Azaria about it first, since this really affects both of us. Like, I don't know if I do want to know this name. Azaria might be bad for you, might be bad for the world. Turns out it didn't really matter what I cared for, but it was good we had that conversation anyways.
Yeah. I had that written down about like, isn't it weird that right after having this conversation, a ghost like stared to your soul and was like, here you go.
Well, and I think I even said this like during that conversation. I wasn't sure, like at the start of this whole enclave, when we made the wisdom saves, I wanted to make sure that I saved this time, because in the last enclave, I guess I can talk about this later, but we're here now. In the last enclave, I failed that wisdom save, and when we found the book, I looked at it and I threw it on the ground, and then Denny said something along the lines of like, you feel compelled to read this book, or you feel drawn to this book. And I wasn't sure if that was because I had failed the wisdom save or because of me. And so this time I was like, I gotta be in the most clear mind in this enclave because I need to figure out what the fuck is going on with this stuff. So we have answers now. Woohoo! But I kind of had a feeling that it wanted me to know that name. And I might not have a choice in the matter.
Yeah. But then I'm like, so it was a corrupted ghost that reached out to you, right?
Yeah.
Like how?
I don't like it.
Is vampiric mist void energy?
Could be.
It's tied in somehow, because it's tied in somehow. I don't know.
I'm just wondering, like, how did it? I don't know.
It's like in the last enclave, there was like that weird like void goo all over the place, and it controlled Jelly. Was that her name? Something to that effect.
Jelly.
Yeah. When Jelly turned to jelly, I remember that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I always remember her name.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw another similar entity at you guys. Just like, I'm a ghost. My name's Air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
my
the
dad's
funny thing,
name.
I had that thought as well. Is like the last enclave we were in was a water enclave. So when the void energy came in, it became this like syrup. We're in the air.
Ryan.
Enclave.
Whoa, Ryan.
So perhaps it is some kind of a mist or a smoke.
Oh.
I think it just corrupts whatever element is present.
There it is. Look
I think it might have been Anthony actually that pointed it out in episode, something similar to that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. Boy, am I excited for the fire enclave. Boy, I can't
Oh boy,
fire.
Uh-oh.
Fucking purple or something.
Oh yeah.
Purple fire burns hotter.
Yep.
Fun question from Kumbla. If Elwyn reverses her curse, will she age 300 years instantaneously? Damn, that would probably feel terrible.
You know what, Kumbla? Stick around. We're gonna find out together.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's always been my question of like, if and when we get this fixed, like what it looks like. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of things I don't know.
Yeah,
I would love if Elwyn got to live like, I don't know, a nice half her life left over or something, you know?
Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
cool?
Like, would you take half?
I take Anthony. I take whatever I can get.
Because then I'm also wondering, like, what if it was kind of like
2 years sold.
like kind of like a
I'll take it.
Narnia,
Lowest bidder.
like kind of a Narnia thing where like
Mhm.
maybe like the curse gets broken and then you just start to age naturally, but you're like still 12, you know, but then like you start to age from that point. But like the kids in
Yeah.
Narnia, you still have like the memory of all the years that you've lived, but like you then only begin to physically age onwards. You know what I mean?
Here's I don't remember Narnia, but okay, yeah.
Like the when they became kings and queens of Narnia, this is not super important. Oh God, Google that is the worst thing I've ever. Yeah, when they became kings and queens of
Oh my
Narnia,
God.
We're not doing that.
Oh no.
basically they lived their full lives in Narnia as these like adults, and then when they got ejected from Narnia, they went back to England in their like kid bodies, but they had all of the memories of like being royalty in Narnia and stuff. And so like I think the book ends with like the mom being like, yeah, like they seem really different and like super like austere and like adult, but they're like still children technically, so it really fucks you up. So anyway, but yeah, that would suck ass if you went through puberty and menopause at the same time.
Yeah, that
Yep.
wouldn't be great, actually. Weird.
Welcome
Crazy,
to
yeah.
Tabletop Role-Playing Games, where you can do all of the things you want to do in fantasy.
Like a
Oh, that is
like going through menopause and puberty at the
yeah.
same time. That
What a
is what I
fancy.
imagined when I built this character. I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Come on, gentlemen, let's role-play.
Yes, let us do it. Yes, indeed.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah, so very end of this episode, kind of a cliffhanger. Basically, we wake up and we get another call from the Learning Circle, and they're like, what the hell? We've been trying to contact you for several days.
Sucks.
The end.
That's bad.
That seems bad. Yeah, so we will delve more into how bad that is after a quick break, and then we'll be discussing episode 44. So we will be back in just 5 minutes. So everyone take a little bio break, and we will see you very soon.
And for you YouTuber VOD watchers out there, be sure to leave a subscribe. There.